We just got back from our local coffee shop and local hardware store. I got all the boards I need for the ceiling, and I got my rickety old table saw out of storage. So I have the router table screwed down to the deck of the trailer. I'm going to feed them this way. It's actually really close to the height of the railing, so I can kind of use that as a support for when I'm done cutting the grooves in them. Little generators over there to power it. Basically what we're doing, tongue and groove boards are really expensive and these are pretty cheap. So I'm going to cut a notch here and then here. So the boards kind of act like tongue and groove, but it's just a notch on top of the one in front of it instead of actual groove that it locks into. Cheyenne is over here with the board written out, and two stains we're going to mix, find a ratio to make the color that we like. All right, so I'm using the router table that my grandparents bought me like a long time ago to cut these grooves in the wood to make them like sort of tongue and groove. We've been experimenting with like different thicknesses of the cut. I think this is a little extreme. I think this is a good compromise between speed of cut and actual holding power. I have the depth set pretty much where I want it now. And we just got to cut both sides of every 12-foot board, which is going to be like 30 of them. So, better get to it, I guess. Also, the reasoning behind this, these are considerably cheaper than buying tongue and groove. And I can get them in like different types of wood and thicknesses. So, this also gives me a flat board finish, which I want, instead of like the beveled edge that you like have to get with tongue and groove. And again, it's way cheaper. So I'll do a little extra work to save a little bit of money. So here is Shy's gradient board from light mix to heavy mix. I think we're gonna go right in the middle. That one looks the best to me. Well, and her, she thinks it's the best one too. Okay, with Cheyenne's help, all the boards are marked. An X means that we're gonna stain the other side. This is the side that's gonna get nailed to the joists. So not visible, and then the ends that are less favorable, that's the end I'm going to cut off to cut them to the right length. They're all marked. I'm going to work on cutting and routing them while she's working over there staining them. So we have a couple stained, drying. We moved on to the trailer as a workspace so that her and I can both stain on opposite ends. Try to get it done a little bit quicker now that they're all cut. We abandoned doing this because if they warp it all, it's hard to get them to fit, and the cut that I make, you'll be able to see any imperfections, and I'm not as good as a giant machine, so we are just going to butt them up, and that will be totally fine. In the time that we went and got lunch, the weather turned and we're fighting off rain. We're trying to get everything to the house in case we gotta get it inside really quick. And the couch was on the deck. We had to move that really fast. Ugh. All right, we got most of them under here. So the house is gonna keep them somewhat dry. Time to get to work. All right, so we have a couple boards up. And whenever you're doing ceiling boards like this, you'll end up with little bits of gap. None of these boards are ever perfectly straight. What I'm trying to do to fix this is a screw in this little piece of wood crooked with one screw into the rafter, rafter, yeah. And then I take this little piece of plywood that I cut, close it up nice, and then yeah, theoretically that's screwed in. Alright, we're just gonna show you this one board because this is like really a two-person job right now. Get that under that so I can get it up there. We'll probably time lapse maybe the other half when half of the house isn't right there. I can't put a tripod there right now. But this is essentially what we're doing, except normally Shy is handing me this stuff. Why did I put this? Why did I do that again? Doesn't make any sense. It's dinner time, man. We're not supposed to still be working. Alright. I'm holding these basically in the middle, getting them up here. This one is going to be very uncooperative. Alright, this is what I'm going to do in the middle. I think this one has like a little bit of a middle flex. Alright. And then just to make sure it's really on there. It's so hot in here. Yeah, and then the little triangle with wedgie trick. It's too hot. Alright, another week. We are back on the ceiling. This time doing something a little different. I have the AC running because it's in the 80s. The house is just now starting to cool down. I'm going to try to keep the door shut. The air compressor's in here with me. Cheyenne was helping me last time, but today she's at work. So I'm going to be doing this solo. So hopefully I can actually do that. Just moved over to this side wall that I'm actually going to be able to get some footage of. Making a notch for the bathroom wall. Almost out of stained boards. Getting ready to cut out for the lights. All right, there's the first half. I'll do one more cut, much smaller cut on the second board. So not sure how I did it, but I scrapped both of those. I cut them just a little too big. These are good. I did those, did all those, never messed them up. The last one I did, I messed up 2 in a row. So I am officially out of stained boards. We have more in the storage unit that aren't stained. I hope I have 6, because I need exactly 6. If I have 6 in the storage unit, I'll be stoked. Those 2 can go in the middle. There's like, you know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches in the middle that is a gap that needs to be filled. So I'll just cut those on the table saw and use part of them, just cut off the part that I overcut for the lights. And man, I'm greasy. I'm not even sweaty. Why is my skin so shiny? Anyway. Alrighty guys, you can probably see by my hair that's gotten considerably longer. It's been about 2 months since the last clip. The ceiling just kind of fell to the wayside. Spiders don't come in anymore. So I did enough, I guess, to fix that problem. So we've been sleeping fine. We're actually here completely full time now. So that's new. But it's finally time to finish the ceiling. I'm sure Shai is tired of looking at the back of insulation, and honestly I am too. So I got like 6 boards left. It's in the 90s today, so working outside's really So I got the AC cranking. It's still 75 in here even with the AC running because it's so hot outside. Probably because my ceiling's not done. It's my problem. I didn't finish it. I'm a little ADHD when it comes to that. I get stuff almost done and then I'm like, oh, this thing over there, look at that. But yeah, air compressor's filling up. Got the nail gun out. Let's knock this out. So this is why I stopped last time. This board here that would finish it off, that tiny little cut over here, I messed it up twice. I scrapped 2 boards in a row trying to get it, and I kind of just stopped. So fresh mind, we're gonna give it another shot today. It's easy, I got it. Get it over here clearly. All right, I measured out my half circles. Both. I honestly didn't do that on these. I held them up and kind of traced the light the best I could. So maybe measuring. That's so funny to say. Maybe measuring will help. Yeah, it's gonna help. And as you can see, I'm cutting less than I need, and then checking, and then I'll cut a little more rather than going gung-ho right away and messing up. I know these are all very basic lessons, especially for some people, but other people have to learn them multiple times before it sticks. So there's my 2 multiple times right there on this specific lesson. Obviously I'll do a couple other mistakes multiple times probably. Arachnophobia warning again. I just said that because most of the ceiling was done, the spiders weren't coming in anymore. Well, me putting more pieces up is disturbing them, I guess. Man, look at that big boy. Oh, he's gone. I guess he, she, whatever that spider is a little camera shy. Just had to run back under the ceiling boards once they realized I was filming them. Yeah. One of those fell on my face. I'm starting to remember that. That's why I started finishing the ceiling. I mean, I should have done the ceiling before we even like finished the rest of the house, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I just do stuff as I think of it. So if you notice, that spider was just like hanging off of the it was just hanging off the insulation. There's actually a little web up there. Let's see if it does it again. See how it's not on the insulation? So when we've been sleeping, it's been hanging out in this little nest up there looking for bugs, which I guess is kind of cool because we don't have to deal with bugs, but also, bro, it's been there while we've been sleeping. There, it slinks back there again. I gotta go over here and do this board, and I don't want to. Ugh. So I've been lucky enough to see most of these when I was picking them out, but I had a board or 2 like this that I missed. You see the knot, there's a hole in there, but you don't see any light through it. But I do. This is flashing tape for windows, so it's real thick. Slap a nice piece on there, put some staples in it, and it's gonna be pressed up against the insulation and everything anyway. And then there's no hole there anymore, you know, for the spiders to come through, because for some reason they want to be in the house with me so bad. Just about done. Got the first piece here, 1.5 inches for this side, 1 more, and then a trim piece in the middle. Well, then all that trim. and all this trim, and there's so much to do. Okay, just got to make a trim piece for that little middle bit, and we are done. So I remember when I cut the joist, I had my saw set at 22.5 degrees. So I set the table saw to 22.5 degrees, and I'm gonna make a roof piece for the middle. And I just realized looking at this, which is okay, this happens when you're not a pro. My 22.5 degrees needs to be like the other way. I did it from vertical. It needs to be 22.5 from horizontal. Back to the saw. All right, well, with the $20 table saw I have on hand, I set it up like this. There we go. That looks more like the roof pitch. Let's go see how this fits. All right, we ready? Oh, that's perfect. Literally perfect. I only get one shot at it too because it's really sketchy to cut. So this one, set it here on the 2x4 nice and solid, and you feed it in like this and it cuts that really heavy angle. Let's see, what's that? So it's 22.5 degrees off the table like this, but since I'm cutting it like this, the table saw only goes to 45, but by putting the board upright at 90, so I'm cutting technically a 67.5 degree angle, but from horizontal it's 22.5. God, that was difficult. Man, talk about perfect timing. The last nail I shot in up there was the last nail in the gun. There we go. No more crack up there. That trim piece is in, and the ceiling's pretty much done. Now, you see the boards are kind of unequal. The drywall is on, or kind of like in front of that last roof joist, so when I put the trim up, I'll push them all flat to each other, but for right now, ceiling. It's a good feeling. It's finally done. Well, you can tell it's the end of a work day because there's a finished project, but also I'm covered in wood chips and I look like I melted, which is how it goes. Yeah, so anyway guys, there it is. Completely DIY roof ceiling. You saw us from beginning to end, thinking we were going to do tongue and groove, realizing I can't cut that well on a router, and then just putting planks up like this. It works. It's good. It looks nice, I think. And yeah, it was like 200 bucks. Wasn't that bad. I mean, the house is pretty small, so it's kind of a lot if you think about it. But if I bought tongue and groove from like Lowe's, it would have been 400 and some change. So this is a very good alternative, a compromise. So yep. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope to see you in the next video, and I will talk to y'all then. I got so much cleanup to do. I have to get Cheyenne from work. I gotta leave in like 7 minutes. There's stuff everywhere. I can do it.